Recording in progress.
Okay, good morning, everyone. This is Sammy, Office Manager. Today, we're going to talk about the seminar of 2024 Summer Bootcamp, FINTRAC.
Good morning.
So it's an easy topic, but it's also the difficult part because we have a lot of people, when you receive the commission, office deals department said you may have a missing document. And usually the missing document is a FINTRAC identification ID or FINTRAC receive funds records. So that is the most missing document. And today we have 4 forms. Usually we need to use a form for FINTRAC. The one is a 630 individual identification form. Second one, 631 for the corporation. The next one is the same, 636 corporation beneficial ownership records, because that is rarely to use. And the last one is we use a lot. Okay, let's start the first one, FINTRAC ID 630. When we need to use this form, so if you are the buyer, represent the buyer, you are the listing agent, represent the seller. If you have a buyer looking for buying the pre-construction, and this is the form we needed to use. Yeah, today we have a little problem with the internet. It's really, really slow. Okay, so when we waiting for the form loading, so usually when you prepare the offer, at least when you prepare the offer, we need to ask a buyer, said, can you please show me the photo ID? The photo ID usually is a driver's license. And yeah, maybe the form is here. We quickly go through the form. First one, transaction property address. So that's why when we prepare the offer, because when we prepare the offer, we have a transaction property address. Otherwise, you don't have. And also we have some agent from the very beginning. You need to file the FINTRAC ID for buyer. You don't have a transaction yet, just leave blank. And the salesperson name is your name. Put your name here. And the date of the information verify. It's very easy, just today's date, always today's date. So the next one, verification of the individual. Full legal name is a buyer's full legal name. And we have some agents said, oh, I have 2 buyers, husband and wife. So can I share the one space? The answer is no. Every person, you should have one complete set of the 630. So you cannot use 2 persons to share the one 630 form. 1 person each. The address, usually if you check the photo ID of the driver's license, you can write down the address. But sometimes we use a passport. Some new immigration, they just came here and they only have a passport. So either you can use the address, they temporarily have any address of here. Even someone maybe just right now they're in a friend's home, you can write down the friend's address. Maybe they're, they don't have any address. Maybe someone not even come here yet. So you may write down the address in their country. Date of birth is easy to identify because you have a photo ID. And the number 4 is a very common mistake people always make. It's the nature of the principal business occupation. So we need to ask the buyer, what are you doing for living? Some people, they never ask, they're scared to ask. They even don't know they need to ask. So this is very important. You need to ask a buyer. Let's just say the buyer right now is working. You need to ask them, oh, what are you doing for living? They say, oh, I'm the general labor. Let's say just a labor job. Okay, someone they just write down, general labor. You have to ask another question. Oh, okay. So by the way, which company, where are you work? Or they will say ABC Inc., ABC Limited. So the Number 4, we basically need two information. One is a job title. Second one is company name. Someone say, oh, I don't have any job here. So you can ask what are they doing in previous country. Someone maybe in the overseas, they have their own job, their own business. If their own business, just write down the president of ABC Inc. And someone, they may be retired. So usually if retire, we need to know what they are doing before retired, because the money, is when they make the money is come from before retire. If someone, they are students, student is like most of the common, they don't have a job, but we have to use third party. If they are student, we just write down student. And in the page number 2, go B2, third party. You need to write down their parents' information. So what are their parents doing to make the money for the students use the funds. But someone, let's say the housewife, we have someone, they said, oh, the husband working, the wife, they don't have any job. So we can write down the wife is unemployed, or housewife, or unemployed. We just write down the husband information in the page 2, B2, third party records. So it's clear, right? If you have any question, put in the chat, we can discuss. Sure, lots of people have questions. Don't forget, just put in the chat, we can discuss later on. And the next one, people just get see there's lots of questions, get a headache. But anyway, this is not, we need to fill all the information. Remember, we get a verification of the individual, and the A1 is mandatory. You have to fill. A1 is called the federal, provincial, territory government issued ID, photo ID. For most of the case, we use driver's license. This is most of the case. And here is the driver's license sample. So if you ask a buyer to provide their driver's license, this is a sample. We see the driver's license, they have a buyer's name, the last name, and the first name, and their address, driver's license number, date of birth, expire date. And then you can take a photo, ask them to send you the photo. So we write down the driver's license, we write down the document number, so you know where you can quick locate the driver's license number, just right here. And the next one, we need to write down the issue jurisdiction, and it's in the Ontario, provincial of Ontario. And the country is Canada. Document expire ID, we found the ID. But we have someone said, oh, the client, they only have a photo, like a health card, Ontario Green health card. They have a photo, it's government issued. So can we use the health card as photo ID in Ontario? No, Ontario health card will be not treated as a valid photo ID, so we cannot use. We have to use a passport. If the client said, oh, I don't have a passport, what can I do? Then you need to go to A2. Remember, A1 is the first primary. If you don't have A1, then we go A2. If the client said, no, I don't have a credit report file anyway, then you can go A3. So if you cannot provide A2, then we go A3, dual ID. So dual ID, usually we use the bank, CRA, utility company, the letter, mail to verify the client. But most of the case, I believe A1 will be the most of the way we verify the ID. We rarely to find the people use A2 and A3. You don't need to fill everything, just one. A1 is the first priority. Okay, so that is photo ID, we're done. And then we go third party. Third party usually is rare to use unless some situation is POA, power of attorney. Let's say maybe the house, maybe the person is the let's say maybe their parents' house, but the case will do any paperwork on behalf of their parents. So if the parents' name on the house is selling the house, but the case they wanted to do the POA. So we have to put the case FINTRAC ID in the first page because they are the person to doing the signing the paperwork. And the parents will become third party. So that is a third party, usually we use. And also the third party we use is because the funds provide the person, they don't have any income, they cannot provide any income. So the third party provide the income. So we put the B2 third party. And yeah, so C is one of the challenging parts. In the past 2-3 months, this is a new updated form. People get a headache here. So anyway, you have to take look every question and put yes or no. Most of the case, the 1 and the 5 is yes. If not, you have to do the calculation, the numbers. But anyway, so we have to go through every single question, read by yourself, understand, and then you can ask your client. So 17 questions, lots, but I believe you can take time to read it. Maybe I will not go every questions because we have a very limited time. And the page 4, D, business relation. And the D1, we have to ask a client the property is using for the residential self-use or for the income purpose. So usually the people use for the residential property using for themselves, family use. Or they said, I'm buying the property for the investment. So you can check it too. And the D2 is the, in the past 4 years, I believe it's 4 years, is there any information change? Has ever done the business with our brokerage in the past 4 years? If yes, and is there any information change? We need to keep up to date, like their name, address, their principal business occupation has been changed or not. Okay, so that is the form, FINTRAC form, and looks like complicated, but when you done few times, you will feel very easy. All right, so we spend 15 minutes for the first one, FINTRAC, for the individual. Second one is the same, but this is for corporation. And maybe before we go to corporation, I think we go to receive funds because this is for the most of the residential buyer agent to use. So FINTRAC ID, we know we need to verify the client and then know your client. The second one form is receive funds. Receive funds is only for the buyer agent. If you're the listing agent, we don't need to use this form. If you're the tenant agent, usually we don't need to use this form. And if you are the buyer agent to help the buyer buy the pre-construction, pre-con, we don't need to use this form. This is only used for the resale, residential, commercial resale for buyer agent only. Okay, let's quickly go through this form. It's very simple. Transaction property address is easy. Salesperson name is your name. And the amount of the deposit. So based on the APS, agreement purchase sale, we know how much amount just right there. This is the currency, it's the Canadian dollar, we right there. This is the date of the receipt funds. So if you get the bank draft today, your buyer go with your buyer to the bank, get a draft. You can write down today's date. So most of the case, we ask a buyer to get a draft, bank draft. And either we deliver it to the listing brokerage, either we directly deposit to their trust account. So right now, there's most of the chances of bank draft, in-person delivery to listing brokerage, or in-person we deposit to listing brokerage trust account. And the next one purpose is for deposit. Yeah, deposit. And for rest of the information, usually we don't need because this is Canadian dollar only. And the next one, there's amount of the funds. They have a separate field, like 3 separate block. The reason is maybe the buyer, they need, let's say 30,000 deposit. But from the A bank, they have 10,000. From the B bank, they get the 10,000. Maybe from the C bank, they get the 10,000. So that is if the deposit not from the one bank, they have more than one deposit, you can use this 3 separate form. And the number C, most of the people, they get asked by deal for the missing document is number C2. So usually people get a bank draft and the deposit to listing brokerage, and they think they already done, but they never do one more step. The one more step is you need to ask a buyer to verify where is the deposit come from. So most of the case, the buyer said, yeah, it's come from ourselves. Then we need to ask a buyer, oh, by the way, which account you purchased, like a saving account, checking account, which account type you purchased the bank draft. So the buyer will say, oh, we purchased from checking account. And then you can ask a buyer, is the funds from yourself or from is there anyone else? The buyer maybe says, oh, it's from ourselves. Then you can write down the buyer's name and tell them, can you provide the account number? Usually the account number, if a checking account, when you get a bank draft, the bank will give you the receipt. The receipt, you will see the account number for the FINTRAC purpose. So ask a buyer, when they get the bank draft, remember to take a photo to you for the receipt. The receipt will show the number of account. But lots of the agents, they forget to ask, and that after closing, the deals said we have a missing document, then ask you to check with the buyer. But the buyer, after closing, the buyer said, why I need to provide? Why you don't ask earlier? No, I'm not going to provide. So that's a problem. So when they get the draft, you can ask, it's the best way. The best way is maybe you can go together with the buyer to the bank, get a draft, and take a photo of the bank draft, the receipt, or bring this form. When you bring this form, go to bank, purchase the bank draft. So we can get all the information done. And if, let's say the buyer, they buying the property, but they don't even have a deposit money. Maybe their parents go to bank, get a bank draft for their deposit. Is it possible? Yes. So we need to write down who is the name of account holder. What is account name, account number? And then we need to continue number D, who provides this fund. So if the buyer self, we just write down, duplicate one more time. If not, maybe from their parents, you need to write down the parents' FINTRAC ID, because that person, they provide fund to the buyer. So that is a FINTRAC ID. That is a receive funds. Before we only have a 2-page, but now you see there's more information come out, but you can understand who provide the funds. The government, they wanted to know, is a buyer provide the fund by themselves, deposit, or is there someone else? If someone else, we need to know who is that person. Okay, so that is receive funds, and it's also pretty easy. And remember to put your question. I know, sometimes people have a question in the mind. If you don't put there, you will forget. Okay, let's keep going for another 2 forms. Another 2 form is very similar, but this is for commercial. Commercial corporation identification form. And if you help the buyer or seller to do the commercial transaction, same thing, we need to get a corporation ID. Let's say there's someone, they ask you to sell their commercial unit. So you have to ask them, can you provide the corporation article in corporate articling of the article. So maybe someone, they don't know what is the article, what is the certificate. So we can quickly, to go to search Ontario Corporation Certificate. And most of the chance we need to get this number, corporation number Ontario. Or it's from the federal government. You can search and see. Most of the people, they use Ontario Corporation, register with Ontario. Because Ontario Corporation, they only register once. They will forever valid until you close. But for the federal government, if you register business, and they have to renew every year, you have to pay the money to renew. So that's why if you represent a buyer, sometimes the buyer said, oh, do I need to get a corporation for Ontario or federal? So if the business is only within the Ontario, we use Ontario corporation is good enough. If the business, they have other than Ontario, maybe they have other branch, whatever. So it may get a federal government corporation register. So we go to forms. The form is if they are a corporation, we need to put the transaction property address, your name, and the name of the corporation. ABC Realty, ABC Inc., the corporation address, and the name, nature of principal business. You have to ask what they're doing for the business they're doing. And also name of the director. So this is different with personal. And the name of the director, usually we can ask them to provide Form 1 if Ontario Corporation ID. The Form 1, they have a name of the director list. You see there's a sample. If you go to Google search Ontario Form 1, you will see the director list. And the next one we go is the type of the verification. We verify by Ontario Corporation Certificate. And then we can write down the certificate, like Ontario Corporation Certificate. The next one, number 7, we need to write down the corporation number. So you see here, we got this sample. This is a corporation number, you will see there. And the next one, this is for only if applicable. Verify for the other intent. A2, usually we just leave blank if this is not applicable. And also check here if when attached, usually we need to get a copy of the corporation ID, corporation article. We get a copy, we check because we need it together with the copy, send it to our deals. A3, usually we are not, this is not applicable. And B is a third party, same thing. For the business type, for the corporation, usually rarely to use. And the C is the same thing. We have to, check every question. So did you know this corporation or the previous have any transaction? Yes or no? And is there any criminal history? Yeah, it's, take a little bit of time to quickly check. But the most of the case, we have to check number 1 or number 5, they have to be yes. If not, we just write down the, as basically whatever, you have to write down based on the reality. Business relation is very similar as the personal FINTRAC ID. This is for land or commercial property or other. Other, usually we sell the business without a property. We can write down here, sell business without a property. And in the past 4 years, is there any business done with our brokerage? If yes, we need to know, is there any new update information? So that is for the FINTRAC ID for the corporation. Yes, I know someone, they say, I have a buyer, maybe they don't form the corporation yet, but they want to buy a commercial unit. Can they use a personal name? Yes. So that's why when we do the corporate commercial transaction, we need 2 FINTRAC ID. The first one, if the people, they use a personal name, we put the FINTRAC for the personal. And after that, if they form to the corporation, we get another corporation FINTRAC ID. But okay, so the last one is for the beneficial ownership records. So this is a new form we add, I think, since last year or the year before last year. So we have to know the structure of the business. Corporation, we need to know the director, who is the director, name of the all director, name of the director. They have more than 25% share. We have to write down there. And the next one for the trust, B, we can leave blank. C, for the wide held public or trust, we can leave blank. D, we don't leave blank. Number 2, we need to write down the who is the director and what is the percentage of the owned business. Usually, if there's only one person, we just write down the one person, John, 100%, maybe they with their spouse, and Mary 50%, John 50%. You have to know the structure. So you have to ask the your client. Record keeping. This is not for profit, non-profit business. So we leave 3. And the next one, we needed to confirm what how did you confirm the information? Usually we get a confirm by the article here, article of the incorporation. Or you can confirm with minutes book. Or you can check with others. But most of the chance we confirm the information from the article. Yeah, that's it. So those form is no signature needed, but those form is one of the form we have to use for any transaction. If you never use this form, that means you never have any transaction done. So if you have a transaction that recently happened, so you have to fill those forms. 630 FINTRAC ID for personal, for the 631 for the corporation, 635 for the beneficial ownership, 635 for the receive funds records. Those forms no need signature, but you have to fill all the information. Never give the form, let the buyer or seller to fill, because this is, if you give it to them, they will never fill this form. So ask them the information. We have to help them fill the information, send it to deals once the offer firmed. So if the offer not affirmed, let's say you put the offer tonight and the offer not accept, so you don't need to give to all the information to our deals. You can keep this form, keep all the information by yourself. Okay, so that is all the FINTRAC forms, most of the use of FINTRAC form. And let's see if there's any question. We're getting a little bit early to finish the training for today, but this is the last topic we talk about for the FINTRAC. And we do only have 2 questions. Oh, 1 question. You don't need back side of the. Yes, we don't need a driver's license back side. We only need a front. Front is good enough. But most of the chance, most of the chance, yes, you are right. Most of the chance, we ask a buyer to get 2 pieces of the government ID. Sometimes a buyer, the driver's license, the name is really aware. They have let's say John is the first name. Maybe on the middle name, they have Jack. On the last name, they have Don. But if you see there have another photo ID, like a passport, there's only John Don. John Doe. So, if there's 2 different ID, so we have to confirm. Usually we need to confirm with the buyer, which one is the legal one, because they have a middle one is illegal, but the most of the case, if you're not aware, because sometimes they have a very weird name. So we check first one, driver's license. Second one, we check a passport. So that is the 2 pieces of the ID will be very safe. Or you check with a passport, you check with, maybe they have another ID is called, it's not the ID, it's called a SIN number, social insurance number, because they will show the name. We just wanted to check name. Or, sometimes people will ask a driver's license, can I have another piece of the credit card? Because the credit card is also we show their name. You are right. We do 2 pieces of the ID will be more safe. And do we need to take picture or PDF? So for the most of the case, we will ask a buyer to take a photo and send it to you. If they come to the office, I will say, oh, can I have your photo ID? I will have take a quick copy. So go to a copy machine, take a copy and put it in their file. Because, sometimes the people say, no, I'm not going to give my ID. My first name is John, G-O-N-H, but actually it's G-O-H-N, G-O-N-H, but you think John is G-O-H-N. You put the wrong name. So that's why we have to tell them, the reason is I need to send me the photo because I want to make sure the name you register on the title is correct, because this is for your own benefit. If there's any name spelling wrong, will cost money, cost loss. So do we need to take a picture? Yes, we need. Can you please show us the article of the corporation sample? Yes, you can. Here, article. You can just Google, they will give you some sample, because I don't have data for real. Article of the corporation. Yeah, you see there's a lot of the sample. And for most of the people, you know, if they're your client, you ask their question, ask their document, they will provide. What is different of the certificate and the article? That's a really professional question. And I don't have I'm not the professional with the commercial, but anyway, so we can find out the answer after. When their forms needed to be delivered together with the purchase agreement or after. So those FINTRAC form, we need fill this form together with the offer, but we don't need to give it to anyone. This is only for your own document. This is for your reference. Keep in your document. If the offer accept, let's say you send the offer to the listing agent tonight, the offer accept, we need to send those form to our office. So if the form is not, your offer not accept, you have to keep it in your file. You don't need to send it to listing agent. You don't need to send it to our office. This is no need signature, just fill the information. And also this is important because every time, you know, we have an agent very exciting, they have an offer, they have a listing, they have an offer, waiting for the close. And after close, the commission is ready, but some document is stuck there. Most of the document is the FINTRAC ID, receive funds. And you know, most of the buyer, most of the seller, when you prepare the offer, any information you ask, they will cooperate, because right now everybody is come to prepare the offer, but after offer accept, even, you know, before the closing, if you ask any question, any information, they will refuse. Some, you know, some buyer, some client, they still cooperate, but some they say, no, I'm not going to give it to you. So in case, if you prepare the offer tonight, tonight there's an offer presentation, you ask a buyer, can you please take a photo of your driver's license? I need to get a FINTRAC done. But some says, hold on, no, I'm not going to give you my ID. So are you going to give away this client? So the FINTRAC, federal FINTRAC government, they said, no, you don't need to give up this client. Continue to do whatever you're doing. Just like if they refuse to provide, we try our best to obtain. But if they refuse, you can just write down the seller, the buyer refuse to provide their FINTRAC ID. They refuse to give the information. So you can send this together, if the deal done, to the office. So report to FINTRAC compliance officer, Tony. So Tony will decide how to do it. So you still need to do whatever you do. If the buyer seller, they refuse, it's their business, but we have to report to our compliance officer. Okay, so 11:45. We don't have too many people, but this is the last class. And thank you for come and join today. So we will arrange, maybe there's a new course in the later on. And I hope you can enjoy today. Yes, enjoy the rest of the today. Okay, thank you.